As I stated to your colleagues, and I'm going to continue to state because we're asking the same question over and over again.
This isn't a question.
This case is in front of Judge Ho, and out of deference to
I understand, Mayor Adams.
Process, I'm going to
Mayor Adams, as your counsel, I'm sure will.
Against single black men. Everyone. There's not one community. They tell me, Eric, bring children and families, bring single women, bring this, bring that, but don't bring single black men into our community. Jim Crowism can't exist in our city.
Mayor Eric Adams made those comments while celebrating his housing agenda, including creating more shelters, more affordable housing, and giving out more rental assistance vouchers. But city efforts have sometimes been met with protest, like this one 2 weeks ago in Bensonhurst, where City Councilwoman Susan Zwang is accused of biting a police officer. The predominantly Asian American community was expressing outrage over the groundbreaking of a shelter for single adults with mental health and substance abuse issues. We asked the mayor if that was the type of pushback he's talking about. Adams insists he was calling out the problem, not anyone specifically.
Why haven't we dealt with this pink elephant in the room? The protests that you're seeing in the city are for single adult black and brown men.
Separately, there were moving moments Monday. Alan Pastors was brought to tears as Adams handed him keys to a new apartment. He's been living in the shelters and on the streets for 3 years and had a lot of trouble finding a place to live, even with a city housing voucher in hand, until the mayor's team intervened.
And I was like very depressed of knowing that I had a voucher and no one would do anything for me.
But the city council has been critical of the mayor for not supercharging the voucher program by granting them to people on the verge of eviction. Adams pushed back, saying there's other assistance available to those individuals and there's just not enough housing inventory.
You're going to overburden the program, particularly with a 1.4% vacancy rate.
All right, guys, you know what? Take your time with this one. We're not going to make it with the 8 minutes. I'm just going to clip it up and make it into videos. So have at it. Tito, what say you? Well, actually, let's start with Saul, because this is Saul's clip, and I want him to set up the premise that he explained to me over the phone. Saul, frame this clip for us.
Well, in a nutshell, you all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
In a nutshell, this right here, this very thing is the sort of, I would say, bomb detonator to which it kicked off a sort of chain of events. Him helping out single black men recover. He was actually answering his personal call and mission. And duly salute to this man for doing that. But as you can see, the sort of underground sort of subterfuge with quote unquote the immigrants, Chinatown, right? Not wanting American black men to actually get services and stuff like that, to the point to where you have a city councilwoman who bit a policeman and nothing happened. And of course, this right here was a sort of impetus for him to say, you know what? Okay, let me go on ahead and start reviewing these services when it comes to the New York City and immigrants and stuff like that. He started reviewing. He's like, you know what? This is a problem. This is a problem. And because he started cutting back, then obviously all these three things and a sort of cumulative effect ended up declaring him an enemy of the Democratic Party. As a result, they set him up. That's my theory.
No, I agree with you. And then, like, with him doubling down on to Biden, speaking out against Biden about the crisis in the city, like, we're a sanctuary city, but you guys aren't giving us the additional federal funding. We're taking it out of our budget, and then I, in turn, have to restrict resources to the citizens of New York, etc. etc. And if you remember, they sent the FBI at him the first time, started investigating him, raided his home, and he backtracked from there. I agree with your take. On this, Saul, especially now that he's become so cooperative with Trump and Holman. I think that's the direction that he wanted to go anyway. And it speaks to the Democratic Party putting the black faces on these horrible policies and then punishing the black politicians, etc., if they do not fall in line. Like, bail that hay, boy. Tito, we're going to have you close the segment for us. Contractor, what say you about this incident with Mayor Adams and him trying to help out? And actually, aside from help out, him actually saying the quiet part out loud, that the pushback is because this is for single black men and that no resources are being allocated to them.
It just goes to show that they believe that you belong in jail. If you can't afford to finance your life out here, then nigga, go to jail. That's what they believe. You don't need a hand up. You shouldn't get a hand up the same way they got a hand up. You have women out here that's existed on programs like this for over 60 fucking years, and at the end of it, they've gained nothing. Nothing, not a goddamn thing, bro. So, because he was willing to help out so-called black men, he's a villain. No matter what you do, you're always a villain in their eyes. And at the end of the day, that man was brought to tears because he knows what he lived through, his experiences out there in them streets for 3 years or so. And he was left speechless at the end. So yeah. Brothers, this is what they believe. This is how they see you. They believe you shouldn't get a hand up or a handout. There should be no help with you. And if you can't hack it, jail. Right there. I like that, bro.
Well played. Quiet Storm says, it blew my mind when Tito said there are now men's only shelters in the U.S. Tito, round this segment out for us. We were reviewing this briefly backstage. Myself and Saul discussing this. What say you on Saul's take on this, finding this clip? Because I actually never saw this clip. But with Mayor Adams saying the quiet part out loud and the enormous pushback that he got, and that this being the beginning of the end with regard to his relationship with the Democratic Party administrative class.
Rewind that clip to the beginning so I can show you something interesting. Just rewind the clip to the beginning. Rewind it. Stop right there. Stop right there. Look at the look on them people's faces back there. You see what that is? You see what that look is? Mm-hmm. That look is, God damn it, this is not what you're supposed to be doing. You got to realize something. I'm going to come back to the same point that I always make to y'all. The Democratic Party has not changed since 1829. Their goal was for this country to be a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant ethno state, and they have strayed little from that. The Democratic Party is all about grinding black men slowly to extinction. Look at the look on these people's faces. Look at the look. He found himself a foul of the Democratic Party when he went against that even a little bit. Like when Lil Jesse went against it. You notice when Jesse Jackson Jr., when he went on 60 Minutes and complained about them not wanting to build a third airport in Chicago, and he complained that where I'm from, the southeast corner of Cook County, have been leading the nation to drive time to work for the past 30 years, and that they take bus routes away from us so we can't get out. About a couple months later, they opened up a federal investigation on him, right? a lot of these campaign finance shits are politically motivated. The whole thing they have with him with Turkey seems a little bit it had to have a stench of entrapment on it, if you ask me, from what I read about it, and I did a live about it. But yeah, he went against the playbook, and the Democratic playbook is let's give a lot of lip service to black men, let's guilt trip and browbeat and emotionally blackmail and fearmonger and try to ostracize black men to vote for us and to carry water for us without actually doing anything in the physical world for them. And he went against that, and that's why they punished him.
I want to yield my time to the gentle lady from New York, Miss Cortez.
I thank the Congresswoman. I'd like to start with some questions prior to my recognized questions. Mayor Adams, on January 31st of 2025, your attorneys met with federal prosecutors regarding the charges of bribery, campaign finance fraud, and conspiracy against you. Were you aware of this meeting prior to its occurrence?
Congresswoman, as I...
Microphone, please.
I'm sorry. As I stated to your colleagues, and I'm going to continue to state because we're asking the same question over and over again.
This isn't a question.
This case is in front of Judge Ho, and out of deference to
I understand, Mayor Adams.
Process, I'm going to
Mayor Adams, as your counsel, I'm sure will inform you. The only permissible way to refuse to answer a question during a congressional meeting such as this is by pleading the Fifth Amendment. Deference to the judge is not a permissible excuse for not answering questions during a congressional hearing. Is it your intention to plead the Fifth today?
Councilwoman, you said the only way that you can't answer a question is to plead the Fifth. I am answering your question. I'm answering your question directly. That
you are not, Mayor Adams.
Okay, I believe I am.
I will ask it again. Were you aware of the meeting between your attorneys and federal prosecutors on January 31st? Answering this question is a yes or a no.
And I'm going to answer it again. Out of deference to Judge Ho with this case.
That is not an answer, Mayor Adams.
He is going to deal with the outcome of the case.
Mayor Adams, is it your intention to not comply with these questions?
As I stated, I'm answering your questions, and what you're doing, let's be clear on, you're asking me about communications between my attorney and I. And I don't think that is appropriate to be asking a question between my attorney and I, because we are in a country of law and order.
I understand.
And your
So, Mayor
relationship
Adams,
and communications with your attorney should be respected.
Who is your attorney?
Alex Spiro.
Alex Spiro, thank you. Now, Mayor Adams, have your attorneys ever met with city officials? That is not covered. I'm not asking about your conversations with your attorneys. Have your attorneys met with city officials, New York City officials?
Any communication or activity between my attorney
yes or no? Have your personal attorneys met with New York City officials?
Alex Spiro, my attorney, to deal with those communications.
Mayor Adams, in this meeting, did anyone representing you, including perhaps Mr. Spiro, agree or allude to any arrangement with the Trump administration that would involve changing city policies in exchange to reconsideration of the charges brought against you?
You say in this meeting? Can you be clear?
In the January 31st meeting.
Again, there was never any agreement, never any quid pro quo.
That's not what I'm asking.
Nothing wrong. Never any agreement, never any quid pro quo.
Was there an allusion to a shift in New York City policy?
Gentlelady's time's expired. And I just want to remind her, Mayor Adams is here voluntarily, and we appreciate that. The topic of the hearing is about our illegal alien problem and the drain on the cities and what the solution is. So